Have you ever looked around and wondered what separates the people who seem to just thrive on challenges from those who kind of crumble at the first sign of one? It's a huge question, right? And the answer, well, it might be a lot simpler and way more powerful than you think. It really just boils down to one single idea: your mindset.
So our journey into this starts with some fascinating work by a psychologist named Carol Dweck. She was studying how kids cope with failure, and what she stumbled upon, it completely turned everything she thought she knew on its head.
She kicked things off with this very question. When you're faced with a really tough puzzle or a setback, what is it that makes one person see an exciting opportunity to learn, while someone else just sees this devastating judgment on their ability? The answer was hiding in plain sight, in the reactions of a group of kids.
Now, this was not the reaction she expected at all. I mean, think about it. When you give kids puzzles that are just too hard to solve, you'd expect them to get frustrated, maybe a little upset, right? But some of these kids, like this one 10-year-old boy, they actually lit up. They got excited. They saw failure not as this terrible endpoint, but as a thrilling part of the game. And that aha moment led Dweck to a truly groundbreaking discovery.
It all came down to this one core concept: mindset. See, it's not actually about how smart you are or how talented you are. It's about what you believe about where that intelligence and talent comes from. Ask yourself this: are your abilities fixed, permanent traits you were just born with, kind of carved in stone? Or are they things you can grow and develop over time with effort? And this, right here, is the heart of the whole thing. It really splits into two totally different beliefs. On one side, you've got the fixed mindset. If you believe your intelligence is just a fixed trait, then your number one goal becomes proving it over and over again. You start to avoid challenges because, hey, what if you fail? It might expose you as not being so smart after all. But on the other side, you have the growth mindset. If you believe your abilities can be developed, your main goal becomes learning. You actually lean into challenges because you know that's how you'll get stronger and smarter. These two simple beliefs create two completely different worlds.
Okay, so what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's zoom in and see these mindsets in action.
So put yourself in this situation. It's not a total disaster, it's not an F, but it's definitely a setback. It's disappointing, for sure. How you interpret this grade depends entirely on which mindset you're operating from.
For someone in a fixed mindset, that C+ isn't just a grade on one paper. It's a verdict. It's a judgment on their intelligence. The action, in this case getting a lower grade, becomes their identity. It's not, I failed on this paper, it's, I am a failure. It feels permanent and deeply personal, and it can leave you feeling pretty helpless.
But flip the switch to a growth mindset, and the reaction is totally different. That C+ isn't seen as some final judgment, but as really useful feedback. The voice in your head isn't about who you are, it's about what you can do. It's all about learning, putting in more effort, and figuring out a new strategy, not about accepting some permanent negative label.
Our culture is just obsessed with this idea of the natural, the person who's just born with this incredible, effortless talent. But the growth mindset tells a very, very different story. It's a story where effort is actually the main ingredient.
I mean, if you ask anyone to name a natural talent in sports, chances are Michael Jordan's name is going to pop up. He looked like a genius out there on the court, like he was defying gravity. We've all seen the highlight reels, and we just assume he was born better than everyone else.
But the real story, it's not one of effortless talent at all. It's one of just relentless, grinding work. He got cut from his high school team. He had to work constantly on his weaknesses. He famously said in an ad, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed." Failure wasn't something he avoided. It was the fuel for his fire.
And this quote from one of his coaches, John Balk, just nails it. Jordan's genius wasn't some static thing he was born with. It was something he was actively trying to upgrade every single day. His greatness came from a growth mindset, this deep belief that he could always get better through practice, through effort, and by facing his weaknesses head-on.
And that's the big takeaway here. The fixed mindset whispers to you, hey, if you need to try hard, you must not have talent. But the growth mindset completely flips that script. It tells you that effort is the very thing that turns on and grows your ability in the first place. So this is the big question, right? If these mindsets are so incredibly powerful, are we just stuck with the one we have?
And the most empowering part of all this research is the answer. A huge, resounding no. Absolutely not.
This is such a critical idea to let sink in. Your mindset isn't carved into your DNA. It's a belief. And yeah, it's a powerful belief, but at the end of the day, it's just something in your head. And you can always change your mind.
So how do you actually do it? Well, you can think of it as a four-step process. First, just learn to hear that fixed mindset voice when it pops up. You know the one. It's the voice of doubt, the one saying you can't do this, or what if you fail. Step 2 is the crucial part. Recognize that you have a choice. You don't have to listen to that voice. Step 3, you talk back to it, but with a growth mindset voice. You answer I can't do it with I can learn how to do it. And finally, step 4, you have to take action. You actually embrace that challenge you were scared of and you see it through. It's a journey from just listening to choosing to speaking to finally doing. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to this. The great tennis player Billie Jean King put it perfectly. It's all about what you want to look back on your life and say. Are you going to look back and polish your unused potential like it's a trophy, always saying, I could have been? Or are you going to look back and say, you know what, I gave it my all for the things I truly valued? The choice and that entire journey, it all starts with your mindset.